All right, welcome, guys. Team Live Life Off Leash. This is our June team call with all of the puppies. It's like they haven't been hanging out with me all day today. So we are popping in the chat some wins that we are having from May. So way to go, guys. Let's see. We have Pam kicked ass last month. Yes, she did. Well, let's see. Danielle got a sale for once after months of not getting one. So way to go, Danielle. Way to stick with it. That's actually some things that we're going to be chatting about tonight.
Yeah, it looks like Megan in her first month made over 100 or got over 100 new PV.
Boop, boop, boop.
That's awesome. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Like if every pet pro that comes in could get $100 in their first month, like you're off to the races, off to a great start.
Yes. So that's actually a little bit of what we're going to be chatting about tonight is what are some things that successful pet pros do? I know I've chatted with a couple of you guys and some pet pros are kind of feeling that they're struggling a little bit and there's some pieces that I can kind of tell that maybe they need a little bit of help with. And so I came up with a nice little checklist, some training for you guys, but we wanted to do some shout outs first. And it looks like we have Rachel. Rachel is a newer pet pro. Super excited for her. So Caitlin, do you want to welcome her?
Hey, so Rachel is another service dog handler that I met on social media, and she actually kind of joined Pottery for like a stint for a little bit, and then took a step back because life got crazy. And then when I was running for executive director, Rachel was rooting for me and sold to I think three different people that month for me. And so I was like, you just need to sign up to be a pet pro yourself. And she didn't. And so then I convinced her to. And in her first week, she got $100 in new PD, which she's going to talk a little bit about. But that's Rachel. And I'm meeting her in 3 days in person for the first time. So that's fun.
Yes, Rachel, take it away.
Hello. There we go. The camera on. Hi everyone. So I'm Rachel. I live in Southern California, and like Caitlin said, we're meeting for the first time in person in 3 days, and I'm like so excited. But yeah, I just started reaching out to people on Instagram and like posting stories and stuff, and I got a few people interested. I've had a lot of people say no, but got a few yeses, so that's been nice too. And I'm just trying to like set some goals with pottery, and then go from there and see how I can succeed in that. So
You should tell them about your dog real quick.
Hmm?
You should tell them about your dog real quick.
My dog, my dog is currently chewing a bone. Here, let me bring you over to him. Here, look up here. This is Bolt. He is currently working on his bone, but he's a white German Shepherd. He's 3 years old.
Aw, he's so cute. And so he's the one that you do the service dog work with?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's my service dog.
So cool. Aw.
He's a good boy.
And how long have you had him and how long has he been a service dog?
I've had him since he was 9 weeks old, and I've kind of been like training him since then to be my service dog. So
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, yay. Well, thanks for popping in and telling us a little bit about you. So that's something that we are going to be doing each week is picking a pet pro. We want to learn more about you guys, and that way we can find out little so actually let's Rachel, what's one thing about you that we don't know? Like maybe it's your favorite restaurant or just anything fun about you.
Let's see. I'm originally from Illinois. I moved out to California 3 years ago to work at Nickelodeon. I just wrapped on my first project there. So I was an asset production coordinator on the show, and now I'm actually in between jobs right now. So I'm looking for my next role. But yeah, I work in animation and hang out with a lot of cool people from the industry.
Awesome.
That's super sweet. That's
Yeah.
kind of cooler than anything I've got.
Worked for Nickelodeon. That's pretty cool. Awesome. Well, thank you, Rachel. All right, I'm fangirling over here. Caitlin. Awesome. Okay. Do. Hi, Linda. We got Krista in the house. Brett. Awesome. All right, guys. Well, I'm just going to jump right into our training for tonight. If I can pull it back up. So, we're going to train about what successful pet pros actually do. So, like I was saying earlier, sometimes people that I've chatted with in a little bit, they're a little bit like, man, I'm struggling a little bit, or what more could I be doing? And when we analyze what they are and aren't doing, so there's some holes. And so here's some things. So there's a mindset check. You are building a business. You're not just posting about one and having fun with with the side thing. It's an actual business. All of us here want to be building a business, making that extra income, getting that extra level of flexibility in our life. I would say it's not even about freedom anymore. It's really just, can we get some breathing room, paying for some groceries, pay for gas, pay some mortgages. Like, that's kind of more of what people are really needing. And so we want you guys to be showing up like it matters, because it really does. Consistency is going to be your friend, which we'll chat about in a little bit. We want you to treat pottery like a job that you love and not a hobby that you're dabbling in. So while, yes, you are a employee for your own, like you are a self-employed person, you're an entrepreneur because you started pottery. But I know for me, there's a lot of times where I'm still in the employee mindset. Somebody could just tell me what to do every single day, and I gotta clock in. It just makes things easier. But I know, Linda, you probably know all about this too, with the farm and the breeding and all the different things. Like, we have to clock in for ourselves. And we really need to be treating this more like a job. If we want to be making really good, serious money with pottery, we've got to be making sure that we are being consistent and working this like a job, like a part-time job even. Because I know, Deb, like, you're super busy. All of us are really busy. We're all working these different things, but we still need to make sure that we're actually focusing on pottery. That's something that when I've chatted with pet pros in the past, that was a part that it was kind of lacking. And I said, well, if you aren't focused on pottery, how do you expect it to grow? If you aren't talking to people about their pets or about pottery in general and how the products can help them, how do you expect it to grow? How do you expect to get sales if you aren't talking about it? The second thing that successful pet pros do is they use their upline. They do not act like they are a lone ranger. They don't try, especially for brand new pet pros. Even if you do have direct sales experience, or even if you have done something like this in the past, a lot of people, they come to realize that pottery is just different. We're a little bit different here because we aren't chatting with people about maybe makeup or a bag that they themselves are going to use, or a weight loss product that specifically they are going to use. It's all about their pets. And while, yes, we use the human emotions of, I'm going to feel so much better that I can provide for my pets, that I can make Keaton feel more comfortable during the times where pollen is literally falling out of the
Or
sky.
we can sleep better at night because they're not scratching and keeping us up and, making the annoying licking sound and all that fun stuff.
Exactly. So it's a little bit different. So in the beginning, I know I did this. Caitlin was really great, and so many others on here, they're good at that, where they're asking questions early and often. They are sending screenshots before they reply to customers and prospects. Again, this is something new. It's something a little bit different, and we all just need to be like learning better on how to be chatting with people. So screenshots, screenshots, screenshots. I really want you guys to be thinking about, when was the last time you sent a screenshot to your upline and saying, hey, can you help me with this conversation? Even some of these, even seasoned pet pros, there's still times that I will once in a while send something to Trisha and be like, not quite sure how to respond to this. So I encourage you guys. I know Sarah Rogers, she just sent me one last week. It was from a customer of hers, and she was asking, hey, how should I respond to this? Caitlin says, I wouldn't be able to have the conversations by myself now if I didn't do screenshots in the past. Yes, Caitlin was sending me so many screenshots every single day, and I loved it. It was great because it showed that she was working her business, she was having these conversations, and then she could go back, and when she was having another conversation, once she got more comfortable with realizing this is the questions that I ask, this is the way that I respond to people, then she already had a roadmap. And once she got maybe 10, 15, 20 conversations in of me helping her with how to talk with people, she had that roadmap. She could go back into past conversations and go, oh, I was talking to someone about allergies. These are the questions that Joey asks every single time she's chatting with someone about allergies. And then you've got that roadmap, and you've already experienced when, if I got an objection, this is how we handled it. And it's a really great way for your upline to be able to say to you, oh, hey, let's phrase something this way because, and we give you the reasonings behind why we are saying something. So another thing is putting your upline into three-way chats with prospects and customers. It's a great way to show people that they don't have to know everything, especially if you are chatting with someone about being a pet pro. Getting your upline into a three-way chat using those third-party tools like videos and graphics and sharing things from the website, because then it shows that person, hey, I don't have to know everything. I just need to know where that resource is, and it makes things so much easier. Caitlin says, all of my prospects get a three-way chat to become a pet pro. Yep. Exactly. And it's also a really great way that you can borrow belief from your upline until you have belief in yourself. I can tell you that I believe in pet pros way sooner than they believe in themselves. I can usually see the little nuggets of like, you're just going to be an awesome pet pro. You guys are going to be doing so good. You guys are going to be doing so well. So borrow the belief from your upline. And sometimes there was times I was chatting with Trisha and I was like, man, I bombed that call, or I bombed that conversation. And she's like, no, you did this and this and this so well. And I was like, okay, maybe it wasn't so bad. All right, do you want to talk about number 3?
Yep. Sorry, I've been very sick the last few days. So number 3 is follow the systems. So we have not only Joey and I, but the entire 5-star team, Pottery has put a lot of systems in place. One of which is the Biz Kit. For those of you that are new, I know Joey, you can talk a little bit about the Biz Kit.
Yeah.
Right.
So the Biz Kit is a link that you would have gotten from your upline, and it really gives you step by step of how to get started in your business. You will definitely hear us as a broken record with send screenshots to your upline and get them into three-way chats. You will get exactly how to launch on social media. I know a lot of times pet pros are so excited and they just go and word vomit this giant post. And they're like, and if you need help with pet products, here's my link. And then it's crickets, and they expect people to just go to their link by the droves. And that's not how we want to do it. We want to be building some more curiosity. I know if you were on Caitlin's team, then she has a really, teaches you guys a really great way of getting on there and not just selling all the time. And so in the biz kit, it follows that same system of here, let's find your people. Most of the time, most pet pros just start as lurkers. They haven't been posting on social media. And so all of a sudden they start posting and it's all about dog stuff. And so it's a great way to gain curiosity, find your pet people prior to saying, hey, I jumped into pottery. And I will say the pet pros who follow the systems are the most successful, and we can track that. So BizKit.
Yep. I know you got one other point in here. Don't skip the simple stuff. And really, and that's, I mean, it can come into posting on social media, some of the kind of simpler things, but there's just, and going back to sharing screenshots and asking for help, like these are simple things and everybody kind of overlooks it, but they do make a big difference, especially in the beginning, like, because like a lot of people are worried about like, oh, well, I don't know, I'm not an expert. And it's like, well, of course not. You just started. Like, why would you be?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Number 4 is they build a posting rhythm that works. So it's not just pottery all the time. We don't want you just pottery. But on the flip side, we don't want you to never post about pottery either. So you want to be aiming for a really nice mix between real life stuff and posting about pottery. Deb, you are awesome at posting about your workouts and going for a walk with your dogs in the mornings. And Linda, I know you talk about your breeding business and your alpacas and your farm life and those types of things. And that really helps for people to really get to know you. So you want to aim for about 4 to 5 pottery related touches per week. Now, this can be done by stories, posts, lives, reels, but as long as you are, again, that consistency, and if you're doing 4 to 5 pottery posts, but sprinkling in your real life as well. And so things that could be like celebrating wins in your stories, you could be doing that. Like, oh, I just talked with a dog mom and her dog was dealing with allergies. This is what their symptoms were. And so we got them onto this protocol. This is the products that we're going to be using for them. And so again, you aren't selling in that, but you're giving almost like a testimonial, like this is the preemptive testimonial that you are talking about. You are sharing that you talked with, maybe it was, hey, I talked with my friend. She's a single mom. She's really needing to bring in some extra income just to help pay for just those extra expenses when it comes to kids. And so she's going to be jumping into this business, and I'm so excited to give her some help with that. And so it shows, oh, wow, I'm also a single mom. I really need help with those extra expenses that always pop up because when kids need clothes or extra groceries, those types of things. Maybe a kid gets sick, all those types of things. I need that too. I'm going to reach out to Megan and see if this could be a good fit for me too. So even if you're just talking with people, maybe they don't actually buy anything, that doesn't mean that you can't say, hey, I was talking to someone about this and this is what I recommended. It doesn't mean that they necessarily had to buy something, but it shows that you're talking with people, you're having those conversations, and it gets other people that's in your network. It's sharing, oh, I'm just like them. She might be able to help me too. So it's kind of like that testimonial type thing. And then show how pottery fits into your lifestyle. So doing things like unboxing, maybe you're making treats or you're making your enrichment for the week. I like to go live and do my enrichments. It might only be a 20-minute live. That's totally fine. But I'm making my Kongs. I'm stuffing all those types of things. And so and I'm talking about adding in the paw pairings, that this is the food that we're using and that I soaked it, and I'm adding in the bone broth, and maybe I'm adding in chillax because we're going to have a thunderstorm later. Like you could be talking about the products and what they do. And that's a great way where you aren't selling, but you're kind of selling because people are going to go, oh, my dog has anxiety from thunderstorms. I need some of what she's using. Can you tell me more about that? And it gives people a way that in your life to be able to talk to you. So maybe some behind the scenes. Maybe you are getting ready for a vendor event. I really encourage you guys to try out vendor events. There's lots of pet pros that do really, really well at vendor events. We've got lots of training on that. I know there's a couple, I think there's 2 pet pros in Indiana that are going to do one together. And so, yeah, Megan, so excited for her first one. Yes, I think it's you and Amanda, I think, are doing it. And so, yeah, I'm going to be sending you guys some empties, and there's loads of training on it. You can always ask me. I know Caitlin has done some, Krista's done some. Marsha's done some as well. And so it's a great way to be able to get into your local community and be able to chat with people. I love new pet pros to do this as well because you're able to find your voice. You're like having that conversation over and over and over and over again. So then you really are able to get into a groove and be able to kind of just get those words to say. You're probably going to fumble over your words a little bit when you first get started. I definitely did. I wasn't sure. I had to do vendor events all by myself and I didn't have too much experience with it, but it was such a great way to be able to learn how to chat about the products. I have a good rhythm on what testimonials I've got in my noggin that I can just be spitting out about the different products and things. And so, vendor events can be really, really good. Sometimes they can be a flop. 100% they can be a flop. But one of the things that we're going to talk about later is being more resilient. Okay, so number 5, which kind of goes into this, they start conversations and they aren't just posting content. Now, we do want to create content that creates the conversations. So that's something that successful pet pros are doing on an everyday basis. But they are successful pet pros are also messaging people. Caitlin is a rock star at this. I know she just had to jump off, but she is a rock star at this. She goes through people's stories on Instagram and Facebook, and she finds people that she can be messaging and saying, hey, I saw that your dog is dealing with ticks. What are you using for that? I have something that I could recommend. Would you want to take a look at it? So we're not just saying, hey, I saw that your dog has ticks. Here's what you should be using. Go buy it. It's creating that conversation. So we also have the Connect, Compliment, Ask training, which is the same thing, but for finding pet pros. You are connecting with people that are your ideal pet pro. You're having a conversation, or you're connecting with them and relating with them, giving them some information and asking them, hey, would you want to take a look at being a pet pro? And so messaging people directly, maybe from Facebook groups, things like that, which you do need to be a little bit cautious on Facebook groups. I know, Brett, you've got some experience with that, and so do I. I've been kicked out of Facebook groups before. But if you go at it in the correct way that I had to learn the hard way, then that's a really great way to be able to find new people. Be asking pet related questions in your DMs and your stories, on your posts, because that's a great way that you can, again, you're making the content that's creating conversations. They're also following up. Follow up is key. The person that got us to the 4K last month, we actually found him, what did we say, 6 years ago at the Novi Pet Expo. So for any of you Michiganders, the Novi Pet Expo that we did 6 years ago. And somehow this guy was still on my follow-up list for text messages. And yeah, he was using greenies and he wanted to try something different. And he's like, oh yeah, I saw you at the Novi Pet Expo. And I'm like, good memory, because I didn't remember. But follow-up is key. Are you willing to follow up with somebody? Now, we're not like harassing them. I will put a caveat on that. But do your due diligence of following up, because who knows? Maybe in 6 years, you will have somebody place a $56 order that's going to be the thing that helps you hit your goal. So follow-up is 100% key. But also meeting people where they are. I will say with follow up, like I have someone right now that I've been following up with as a pet pro, and she's told me no. She told me like not right now. There was things she wasn't sure if she wanted to be a pet pro, and then she wanted to just buy some products. And I'm just meeting her right where she's at. I'm like, okay, no worries. And then all of a sudden now she's like, okay, I'm signing up for the at 50% off next month, like at in June. That's what I'm going to be doing. I'm like, okay, let's do it. So she's going to be signing up this month with the 50% off. She really needs the extra income. She's been thinking about this for a long time. And so if you are following up in the correct ways and meeting people where they're at and not just being like, okay, well, I'm just never going to talk to you again. Well, still engage with their stuff on Facebook, and when it's the right time for them, they will come around. And then they care more about connecting than closing. If I wanted to hard close that girl, it wouldn't have worked. But because I was just caring that, okay, not a big deal. Now's not a good time. No worries. Oh, you just want to try the products? Great. This is how we can do it. Okay, well, it makes more sense for you to be a pet pro for everything that you want. All right, let's do that. And so because I cared, and I will be closing her later on this month. They show up to events and they plug in. So Zooms, team calls, like today, I'm very excited and proud of every single one of you. We have a lot of people on the team, and you guys are the ones that show up and are here and engaging. So thank you so much for being here, honestly, because I don't want to be wasting any of our times. I want this to be very valuable for you guys.
Well, I can even remember like very early on, like in our pottery career, where Joey was like bought in. She was doing pottery, and I was kind of like sitting on the couch. Well, so I wasn't fully bought in. I was like, "Yeah, you do that. That sounds
That's your
great."
thing.
And it was actually on Monday nights when our team call used to be with Trisha and her whole team. So Joey would sit on the couch next to me, and she'd be watching or watching the team call, listening in and chiming in and everything. And like, would it take like a couple months, maybe a couple months of me sitting next to you every Monday, listening to the team calls, and finally like now I got bought in. I was like, this really makes sense. And now like here we are, several years later, working the business together. So it does make a huge difference. Like even if like you're in a bit of a funk, like just to really like plug in and get on these calls and get into the Facebook groups, it really makes a huge difference.
It really, really does. Because you never know when there's that one thing that changes your perspective on something. So yeah, coming to events, plugging in, the leaders lean in. And so they don't necessarily like be on live if at all possible. Watch the replay if you can't be on live, but they also participate. So when Taylor, yes, Marcia, I know you did a great job of getting me into a three-way chat. Very proud of you. And so like asking questions. So when Taylor was live earlier today, are you just sitting there and you're just watching in the background? Or are you actively in the chat saying different things? Are you replying to, maybe are you reading the chat and reply? Maybe there's something that somebody had said that really was impactful for you or made a lot of sense, being able to reply to their comment. So those are all really great things. I try to make sure, because when you go and do a live, you are going to want people that are commenting and replying in there. Believe me, it makes the live a lot more fun. When you're doing your reels, it makes things a lot more fun when you have people interacting back and forth. And so asking questions and not just silently watching on things. They focus on progress, not perfections. This is number 7. So you don't need to be the best pet pro. We all start at suck. That's what one of my mentors say. We all started at ground zero of being a baby pet pro. And we've all had to learn and fail and make mistakes, but keep going. So we try something like maybe trying a vendor event. Maybe it goes well. it's still really great to be like, okay, what went well? What could I have done differently? Maybe I could have had my setup differently. Maybe it completely fails and gets annihilated by a tornado like Alex and I have had. That happens. Things just out of your control happen. But you know what? We literally scrounged up what we could. And I think we left, like we still had the table there the next day or something like that. We did end up leaving early because there was heat things, and it was kind of a mess. But did I let that hinder me from never doing a vendor event again? No.
Almost.
No.
No, I'm just kidding.
I will never do that vendor event
Yeah.
ever again. But that's a different story for a different day. But I'm still going out, and once in a while I'm still doing vendor events when I can fit them into my schedule. Being a pet sitter now, it's very hard to be finding the ones and then schedule wise and things like that. But I really encourage you guys to, if you fail, if you trip up, maybe you said the wrong thing, maybe somebody bitched you out and it really hurt your feelings. I've had that happen from one of my good friends. And you know what? It stings. But a lot of times, if someone's upset about something and they lash out at you, it's not actually about you. There's something else going on in their life that is, and it's not actually you. You're just the one they're taking it out on. And so not taking so much stuff to heart, making sure that you just keep learning and growing. Reach out to your upline we do a lot of stuff on social media, those keyboard warriors. I know Brett's had them. I know Caitlin has had them.
I've had them.
Yes. So many people have had them. So if you've got something like that, reach out to either the team chat or reach out to your upline or even myself or Alex, and we can help you through it because we've been there, but we're still here. I'm still utilizing social media as my primary way of growing my business. I just know that there's some jerks out there, and that's okay. Number 8 is, so here are some daily actions that successful pet pros do. So definitely take note of these. So here's what to aim to do every single day. Having 3 to 5 conversations, new and follow up. Like you want to be having those new conversations every single day. So maybe it's comments that somebody had posted on your reels. It's replying to people that voted in your stories. Like you want to be having those 3 to 5 conversations. You want to be posting at least one story or one post about your lifestyle, pets, business, those types of things. Personal development. This is so key, and I can't grind this into your brains anymore. Personal development is so key. Even if it's just 10 to 15 minutes worth of listening to a book, listening to a podcast, finding a training on the petPros only page, getting into product knowledge. That's not necessarily personal development, but you're still learning about the products. That's all in Pautry University. There's tons and tons of videos in Pautry University. So getting in there, and like the more that you can be getting your mind around positivity, because I can tell, like when I get grumpy, when I just get in a little mood of like everything sucks, nothing's working, man, and I'm just grumpy, I realize I'm not doing anything to nourish my mind. And Deb, I know you're good at this too, of listening to a book or a podcast. Maybe it's like I like to do a lot of the YouTube videos. That's why I send those to you guys, because they're just, I can sit down, I can be doing something. Maybe it's while you're getting ready in the morning, and it can just pump you up for the day. And even if something does try to knock you down, you're like, no, I'm in a good mood. The day is going to be a great day, and I'm not going to let that bother me. I'm just not going to let it bother me. And you just get into this positive mode. Especially there's so much negativity in the world right now. So many because if you think about it, the people you surround, like the 5 most people that you surround yourself with, analyze them. Are they more positive or are they more negative?
Yeah, you're the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Yes, thank you.
Now, there is a bit of a hack to this, and that's when you get into kind of personal development and listening to podcasts and um, uh, videos and books and things like that, where if you're kind of surrounding yourself with these positive individuals, whether it's a audiobook you're listening to or a podcast, like that can kind of simulate one of those five people that you're surrounding yourself with. But I know, I mean, we've all had times in our past where you probably look back at like your friend group and being like, oh yeah, like probably wasn't the best group to be hanging out with, or whatever the case may be, or they weren't the most positive, or they were a bad influence, whatever the case may be. It's no different like throughout your entire life.
Yeah. There's a girls, like a group of girls that we do a lot of girls trips with. And for the most part, I love all the girls. They're amazing human beings and I really do love them. But man, some of them when we all get together, sometimes they can be so negative on those weekends. And I really have to check myself that I don't fall into the trap of complaining all the time and thinking like the negative thoughts and those types of things. A lot of times I come home and I'm like, Alex, thank you so much for being just an awesome husband, because all of those women just complained about their husbands the entire time. And I'm like, why are you guys even married if you hate your husbands this much? Goodness. So it's they're like venting all these types of things. So really be checking who are you hanging around with the most and making sure that there's some positive people in here. That's why jumping into the teen chat, getting onto the power hours, coming to Paw Fest if you can. We really want you guys to just be making sure that you're surrounding yourself with positive people. And just personal development and positivity. Last thing is they review their goals and they check the team pages. So I will give a little some headlights. So Thursday, Alex and I will be doing the connection call. So I really encourage you guys to be on the connection call because, well, we're going to be training. Come listen to us some more. But we're going to
be bringing my A game because I'm going to be all better by then, hopefully.
Yes, we will both be all better. But we will actually be chatting about setting goals, how to be reaching them. So at PawFest, they do have different awards. And so in June, it starts the new award year. So we will be chatting with you guys about how to, like, what are some of those things, how to be tracking for it, what do you want to be shooting for, those types of things. So I encourage you guys to come to Thursday because I'd love to see all of you guys next year and see you guys on stages and all of the fun things. Hi, Caitlin, you're back. So we're just finishing up the training. But so I'd love to open it up and feel free to come off mute if you guys have any questions about the training tonight or anything at all about Pottery, Pet Pro, anything like that. Come off mute and let's have some questions and answers, and or if you guys are struggling with anything, I really want to be using this time to help you guys with that. You've got some vendor events. You have questions about vendor events?
Yeah, so obviously this is the first one that I'm going to do, and I'm really excited about this because it's benefiting one rescue that I've been with for the last at least decade. I've known about them and the person who started it up and everything like that. Thankfully, I have great friends who are letting me borrow things like a canopy for the event and, tables that I don't necessarily have. And I'm trying to be very if budget friendly since this is the first event, like purchasing stretchy tablecloths that I can wash and reuse. And I didn't buy like a table banner yet, but I instead purchased like a customized flag sort of that has the logo on it that I can hang from the canopy. I'm going to put like metal weights or something or magnet weights at the bottom of it to try to keep it from not flying everywhere. But mostly, I mean, I got business cards that are vertical instead of horizontal, so that way they stand out a little bit more. They have a QR code on the back of it that says scan this to take the pet quiz. that I'm going to have those out. And it does work. I made sure to check with my husband. I was like, double check to make sure this works. But I plan on having I have some empty containers of supplements and stuff that I'm going to bring, and I have some display things for that. But I'm trying to think of the best way for me to obtain potential buyers' information. And I know I said this kind of in the group, was I was trying to figure out what product is best to quote raffle off, so to speak, where I tell people, hey, if you fill out this pet quiz, it gives you a chance to win such and such product. I think what I'm going to do to stay more price efficient is just do one of the bags of freeze dried treats, because I'm going to try to angle in on, how holistic these are, and they don't have the fillers, and for pets that have bad allergies and things like that. So I think I'm going to go with that, but then I'm also going to have like a raffle jar sort of that has little papers in it, and I'm going to have free items there that I'm going to be giving out, so people actually get product in hand before they leave. So they'll have contact information, but then they'll have something to have in their hand. So I'm going to do the baked treats. I'm going to make videos of that and have those to hand out. And then I bought these fabric collar flowers. Like, it has elastic on the back and you slip over the collar. So in this little raffle jar I'm going to have is going to say, hey, you get a free pet treat, or you get a free, flower collar, whatever it is, because then it's not something I'm putting a lot of money out with, but at least it's gaining that relationship and, oh my gosh, doesn't that look cute? And, building confirmation and communication that way. Is there anything else that you think I should really hit on at a vendor event?
So Joey usually doesn't do the free samples. Also, sorry if there's a lot of noise. I do the free samples at vendor events, but they have to give me their name, their number, and their email in order to enter in the raffle. And then I follow up with every single person and go, hey, here's a link to the treats that your dog tried and loved. And like also all of our other treat flavors. Like I only had, this one on display or this one as samples. And I got a lady at my last vendor event. Joey knows this because I was shook. She went online and bought every single bag of our treats in every single flavor. And I hit my NPV that night and it was insane. But
Nice.
that's how I do it. I've found that people don't fill the pet profiles out at the table. I know that some other pet pros that are like at Joey's level, like Alta and Amy, they somehow get everyone to fill it out at their table. I would love to do that. I found that they don't. So I'll send them, the link to the treats, the pet profile, and I'll ask a question to try to keep that conversation going. Um, that would be my recommendation, is do maybe something like that, especially if it's your first vendor event. So it's not so like, here, let me walk you through how to do the pet profile and it takes all this time, because you're already going to be overwhelmed if it's your first one.
So do you think it would be a recommendation, instead of fill out this pet quiz for a chance to win, it should be more of the, hey, fill out this ticket with your contact information and then I draw that way? You think that's better than doing the pet quiz because it's
Yeah,
easier for
I
them?
would. So I will have pet quizzes like printed out or have my tablet, they can fill it out. But if it's something like they ask me about allergies, I'll go pull their ticket out and write allergies on it to keep that conversation going later.
Mm-hmm.
I've just found that people are more willing to do the quick, like, email number versus the whole pet quiz. But you can say, like, hey, even if you don't win, I'm going to follow up with a link to fill out this pet quiz as well. So just kind of keeping that conversation going after the raffle. But it's all about getting their contact information, which
Yeah.
sounds very salesy, but
Oh, I know. That's
it
how you can do
is.
your follow-ups and keep checking in on people. So no,
Exactly.
I knew that was going to be one of my main things, was trying to gather contact information so I can build those relationships.
Yeah, Megan, when I send you guys the empties, I'm pretty sure I still have them. It's a full page, 8.5 by 11, and it has their contact information at the top, and then it has like what looks familiar. Now it's a bit outdated, so I think it still says something about dental health on there, but it doesn't have like all of our questions on there, but it still has a lot of the issues checklist. And so that's something that you could be saying, well, hey, does anything on this look familiar? And then
Hmm.
that way you're able, and you can make copies of just the front page. You don't have to worry about the back page. It was something we made many years ago.
Okay.
But it still gives you the relevant information. And then there is a spot on there that you will be able to write your notes of like, hey, this person had, and I sometimes I'll even describe the person like, oh, it was a mom and a daughter. So it kind of
Hmm.
jogs my memory when I go to do the follow up. I'm like, oh, she had the flower in her hair or whatever it was. So you can still use that as a raffle, but you've got a bigger piece of paper. It gives you more information like their pet's name, what kind of issues are they having. And so you can say, hey, I saw that like one of your follow-ups could say, hey, I noticed that you checked off a couple of things. Here's a link to a pet profile, and it's actually going to recommend what products are going to work well for that.
Okay. Are you sending those to Amanda? Is
Yeah,
that where you,
yeah. She
okay.
was going to get me a list of the ones that she needed. I have quite a few because I save all of my empties for.
Much appreciated.
Yeah. And so it really is, I mean, Megan, you're very friendly, you're very easy to talk to. So just going in with that and asking people like, because I'm assuming it's going to be a pet event.
Yeah, this rescue is going to have adoptable animals there as well, but it's a market, so there are other vendors that are going to be there. They just might not be as pet centered as we are.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm trying to lean on that a little bit more. And the person or group of people who are running the event, they're like, "Hey, you would be really good for us to put like right next to the rescue. So that way, you're right there. I can communicate with the, owner of the rescue, so to speak, and her volunteers and helpers. And they can, hopefully I can build that relationship with them for future, when it comes due. Because, uh, for example, they have a golden retriever that's about 50 pounds and she's a year and a half. And she has had stool issues where she is just liquid and she can't keep weight on her and she's on steroids every day. Like they've had to find a steroid that works. And so I'm trying to think of the best ways to talk to her about it because of course she's been to the vet and I trust those vets. I worked with them, but I don't want any animal to be on steroids for a long length of time. That is not good for longevity. I know that from personal experience. So I was thinking about that, like the Gastro Plus and like Immunoshroom and some of those the more holistic treats that I might be able to talk to her about without shoving it down her throat per se. Like, hey, let me help you get some of these products on your shelves so you can try them out with your animals at the rescue, see if it helps, maybe pair it with some of the medicines that they're taking. That way you can help back off of the medication sooner than you might need to. But she's
Yeah.
had this golden retriever for 6 months now. Then she's had all these tummy issues, and I felt so bad for
Aw, poor thing. Yeah, I will say in times like that where I know it's a direct person, I will do bigger like samples sometimes. Um, and now obviously this dog is a special case, and
her. Yeah.
so it's going to probably take more, but I would just say, hey, here is a 5-day sample for this dog, to give it a try. I'm not sure, I don't know if it'll do anything in quite 5 days, but we can see at least if she's going to eat it, those types of things. So giving like a 5-day sample of, or not even doesn't have to be that big, but even just like a couple day sample of the Gastro Pro Plus to be able to have her try it and see, will the dog
Hmm.
eat it? Does it even help a little bit kind of a thing?
Yeah. Because my hope is to get her to understand that these products can help, that we don't have to do all veterinary medicine. And it's going to help her save some money in the long run and some trips into town for vet visits because she lives about 30 minutes outside of town. So, anything I can do to try to help her, I want to do. So, if I get my hand in with that and help her out with certain things, I'm hoping it'll benefit both of us for future.
Yeah, because then maybe as the rescue or even as her as the foster, she might want to sign up as a pet pro and be able to add these in, like you said, get it on her shelf and stuff.
Hmm.
Linda said maybe you could offer a bag of treats to anyone that adopts a pet there at the event.
Yeah, I did think of that as I just didn't know if I don't know if they're just having pets there to meet or if they're
Mm,
actually doing adoptions there. That
okay.
part I don't know because it says they'll have available dogs. All is all it says in the marketing. And I haven't reached out to her yet because she just got back from a vacation that she rightfully earned. So I haven't reached
Yeah.
out to her to ask her yet. But yeah, my thought was definitely do the treats. Make sure I take my packages from the treats. I have the Snickerdoodle ones and I'm getting the PB&J ones I just ordered. So that way I can say, hey, these are the ingredients. Do you have a picky eater? Do you have a dog that has severe allergies with food products? Like, here's what we can show you. But I like the fact that they're going to put us right next to the rescue. So hopefully it's a nice handoff in
Yeah.
regards to communication.
Yay. Well, that's exciting. So I would say as people are coming up to the booth, just be very friendly and be like, oh, do you have a pet? Do you have a dog or a cat? Oh, I've got a dog. And just be
Mm-hmm.
asking lots of inquisitive questions about their pet. And then, again, I'll send you guys at least some of the sheets. You could be making copies of it and saying, well, hey, I'd love to, have you ever heard of Paw Tree before? A lot of times people are going to say no. And then
Mm-hmm.
you can go into, well, here, let me tell you a little bit about what we have. We are a pet health and wellness products. We are a pet health and wellness company. We have all natural and holistic products that can help dogs and cats with lots of pesky pet issues. Does anything on this sheet look familiar? And so then they can go through and be like, oh, yeah, he's got bad gas sometimes. And man, his breath is really bad. And then you can kind of know what products to be talking to them about. And then the biggest thing is just making sure that you go for the ask. So either making sure, like asking if they have Wi-Fi there that you could use, or if not, or just bring a hotspot. If I know my phone turns into a hotspot, and taking orders right on the spot. So whether that is like having your QR code out on the table, so you can say,
Mm-hmm.
oh, well, hey, is that something you want to try today to help with your dog's allergies? Yes, I would love to do that. Okay, great. Here, scan this QR code and I'll help walk you through how to order it. And then they're
Okay.
doing it on their phone, or if it's somebody that maybe isn't so technologically advanced, you can have your computer up and you can be like, okay, great. Well, let's get your order placed right here. And then you can just do it right on your computer, however you want to be doing that.
Okay, that's super efficient. Think I'm gonna tag in the husband to help with that too. That way I can still have communications with people and he can take over the tech portion. But
Yeah.
thank you, everyone. I'm sorry that I took up so much time. It's just hard for me to get to these meetings. So
No, we're glad for the questions because even I think where was it? Rachel, she said that she'd love to have a table at an event this year, and so she would be interested in getting some of my empties. So yeah, Rachel, I can definitely send you some empties, and that's what I would definitely want to like. I know I put it in the chat the other day, but make sure you guys are saving your empties. So if you've ever ordered a product, and you don't have to save like 8 of your empties or anything like that, but you want to make sure that you have at least one of all of your empties because A, you can make marketing materials with it. B, you never know when that might go actually on sale. Like I've never ever in 8.5 years needed to use the ear wash and dry, but I have ear wash and dry because there's times where maybe I need to chat with somebody about allergies and I need to show them it's the ear wash and dry, or I want to be able to have it on the table. Now, I will say you don't have to have every single product out on the table. That's going to be a lot. So definitely have the products out that you feel the most comfortable talking about. I know, Megan, I know you have lots of experience as a vet tech, and so you can kind of go and choose which ones you want to be talking about. But food, some of our top selling products, those types of things is what you're going to want to have out.
I have one of my friends that still works at a vet clinic in town, and she's getting me some base prices for dental cleanings that
Ooh.
I'm going to have out at my booth. And of course, I'm not going to list the vet office. I might round the number off to make it not so exact, right, for all of that. But I'm going to use that in regards to my veterinary knowledge. And, oh, you got bad breath? Most dogs have bad breath. You don't want to brush their teeth? Totally get it. Like, hey, this is what you could be saving per year, or push it off, because it's not a cure all, but it'll help you budget to save that money up for when they really need that dental cleaning.
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say my vet wanted to do a dental cleaning on Bolt because like he saw this like one gum be red one time. Like it was like kind of funny. I was like, oh, okay, now it's gone though. I don't see it anymore. So I'm like, oh, I don't think I'm gonna get it cleaned. I'm gonna put that off. But yeah, he quoted me $750, and I was like, ugh. Like it's like I know it's necessary and stuff, but I was just like, his teeth are really not that bad. Like there's barely any tartar on his teeth. Like
Yeah. Yeah, I think around here it was like between 5 to 700. And I think the average across the United States, it was like about $1,000. So these are 32 cents each. They're much cheaper. Now, like Rachel said, yeah, there's definitely times and places where dogs and cats need to go get dentals. But one other thing, Megan, you guys could do is have before and afters. Those are really, really telling. Krista and we did a vendor event at a dog show. So that's even something you guys could be looking at see if there's anything in your guys' area are dog shows. And we did a before and after. We had quite a few before and afters, and it really drew people in. They were like, because there's, nasty teeth on the table, pictures of nasty teeth. And I even had like a full display of just the plaque control. And and so that really drew people in so that they could really see, wow, this is because we don't have too many products. I mean, the allergies, we do have a lot of before and afters and for shedding and coats and that kind of thing. But man, let me tell you, those before and afters of the teeth getting cleaned.
I was going to do that too with the most recent one you sent to our group. I forget whose pictures they were, but that was one I was going to like print out and have like on a stand, so to speak, along with a QR code. Because, I mean, people like visual things rather than just being told. So,
Yeah. And you could even go and look at the dollar store. I know when I first started doing vendor events, I got a ton of stuff at the dollar store. You could always check out like Salvation Army or Goodwill and just see, is there a black tablecloth that you could find? Is there maybe there's like green lights that somebody decided to donate, or so sometimes or maybe there's a basket, or it's really good to make sure that things are at different height, different levels.
yes.
So making sure
Mm-hmm.
that there's a box. A lot of times I'll just use the old pottery boxes. I'll just kind
Mm-hmm.
of fold them up, and that way they can stand things up. But you can find things pretty cost effectively at places like Salvation Army or the
Yep.
dollar store.
We were just at Goodwill this past weekend, and I
Oh,
was like,
good.
okay, we need to make this a monthly trip. That way I can go and get things. And my main goal was to find things for Tablescape for the vendor event without spending a lot of money. Something eye-catching, something to, save us some money until if I want to buy better products later on, or, anything like that. So my husband's like, you've been to Dollar Tree and Goodwill all in the same day. I was like, and
Right? I'm
I saved
stocking up.
money.
Exactly. Awesome, guys. Well, we're at the top of the hour. So thank you so much for bringing your questions and chatting with us tonight. So I hope this was very helpful for you guys, and you invite some of your team members and other people to come next month. So I will see you guys on Thursday. And if you have any questions, always pop them in the team chat. So talk to you soon. Bye, guys.